Good evening and welcome to the first day of the second weekend of the fifth edition of the Lonavala International Film Festival of India. First and foremost, before we start this session, I'm truly sorry for this 5-10 minute delay. Uh, Delay is the second and the middle name of technology. Sometimes there are network problems, sometimes there are tinkering problems, but all's well that ends well, and we are right here in front of you. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Before we start, Praveshji, welcome all over again. We had such fun the last weekend, and I'm seriously looking forward to some great fun this weekend as well. Anand sir, Milind sir, welcome to the both of you. Thank you so much. We got so much appreciation the last time we all talked to one another that it was absolutely fantastic. We have with us Mr. Madhav Todi, the Festival Director of the Lonavala International Film Festival of India. Thank you, Madhavji, for being with us. And let's, without further ado, even though we were delayed a little bit for 5 minutes, let's start. Sargam is unique. Sargam is actually the NNCP who made the Fakiras and the Chor Machai shows moving into a slightly mellow mold because he made a actually all-out musical. A film that didn't have villains and didn't have car chases and didn't have Shashi Kapoor underwater for 30 minutes. That we will talk about tomorrow. But it was a mellow film. It was directed by K. Vishwanath, an acknowledged genius of a director from the South. It starred Rishi Kapoor. It introduced a girl called Jaya Prada, and it had an incredibly outstanding musical score by Lakshmikant Pyarelal. So since we are all here together, before anything else, I would like to pay a little tribute by keeping 5 seconds silence for my dear friend, Praveshji's dear friend, Mr. Rishi Kapoor. Thank you. He was truly a dear friend. I had the joy of being directed by him in a film called Aab Laut Chale. We were together in New York for 90 days. He was as hard outside as he was soft inside. Outside, he was always frowning. He was always sulking. He was never, it was almost as if he was absolutely fed up with the world, as if he was doing them a favor by even being there. But inside, he was soft and he was sensitive. And if you asked him for anything at 2 in the morning, he would say yes. He would not tolerate it if I drank my prune juice from his whiskey glasses. His whiskey, his black label was completely sacred to him. Sargam actually, for me, proves that Rishi Kapoor, in a female-oriented musical film, would always give solo blockbusters. In fact, he was one of the actors who gave the kind of solo blockbusters that even Mr. Bachchan has. Be it Bobby, be it Sargam, be it Kars, be it Nagina, be it Chandni, be it Bol Radha Bol, be it Hum Kisi Se Kam Nahi. The man has just given solo hit after solo hit. He was actually a hit machine. But for some reason, and his multi-stars were hits as well. I mean, if you look at Amar Akbar Antony, or if you look at Naseeb, or if you look at Coolie, they were big hits as well. But we will explore that. But let's go back to Sargam. Praveshji, how did your father, and I remember you mentioned this a little bit, that he had gravitated towards the South. We had talked about this last time because of the discipline, because of the professionalism, because of the fact that in the South, work used to get done. And Anand sir and Milind sir have also worked with a lot of producers in the South. And so we'll start with that, Praveshji.
Yes, we did a lot of remakes, and we spent a lot of time working with South Indian directors and crew members purely for all the reasons that you just mentioned. But I think the original subjects here that we were listening to at that time, and I'm saying this we because I was all of 15, 16 by then, and I was kind of, with my ears and eyes open. A lot of the sessions that I saw happening here with the original subjects at that time weren't appealing to him, weren't befitting a follow up to a golden jubilee, and a silver jubilee after a silver jubilee, and all of that. So we went looking down south. we always had good connections. Like I said earlier, Gemini Lab was almost like home, and a lot of the references or introductions did stem from there, and we got a lot of movement and traction because of them, and that's how it probably started. Yeah.
Super. He had always worked with a lot of music directors. I don't think he had any personal favorites. He worked with Lakshmikant sir and Pyarelal sir in Gazab, in Sargam, Kalyanji Anandji, I think in Paras, Kali Charan as well, Anand sir and Milind sir in 3 films, as you mentioned the last time, and Shankar Jayakishan as well as Madan Mohan. Actually, everybody.
Jatin Lalit as well in one.
Jatin Lalit as well, one time.
Ravindra Jain.
Ravindra Jain and two.
Ravindra Jain, of course, 2 blockbusters which we are seeing tomorrow and day after are both Ravindra Jain. So it was a varied lot. The main thing is that it is incredible how this one film became into the biggest blockbuster musically for your banner. So I would like to start by talking, before we talk about the music of Sargam, to Anand sir and Milind sir about the music or the musical genius of Lakshmikant Saab and Pyarelal Saab. I do know that Pyarelal Saab used to be arranger. And if you hear the arrangements of most of his movies, especially those musical directors like Raj Kapoor or Manoj Kumar, it was incredible. And I think the composer part was Lakshmikant. I'm not too sure. I was very young when they were at their peak. So Anand sir, over to you about Lakshmikant sir and Pyarelal sir.
See, we've been their fans since ages.
Yes.
मतलब हमको उनके म्यूजिक ने इतना इन्फ्लुएंस किया है. Some of our earlier songs, a lot of portions would sound like a Lakshmikant Pyarelal song. Dhire dhire we started with our own style and all that. But I think they are complete music directors in the sense, tune-wise, orchestration-wise, the treatment, the counter melodies. Nothing, could be better. जिस तरह का काम इन लोग ने किया है, right from the beginning days. And as far as the compositions are concerned, very often I feel that both of them used to be involved. लेकिन जो sittings होती थी, उसमें I think Lakshmi ji used to sing more. So people weren't sure ki who's making which song. And of course, Pyare Bhai took over the orchestration completely. I think that was much later. But I think it was a brilliant combination of both. Can't be better.
It was cut out the role because Lakshmi ji would speak to the singer and explain, and with Anand Bakshi or whoever the lyricist was, but in this case with Bakshi Saab, they were the two who spoke to the singer and briefed for the requirement and all of that. And Pyare Bhai was in complete control with his battalion of musicians. Everything was live those days, and there were multiple violinists. And
it was full. It was rich. It was like, for example, Ramji Ki Nikli Savari, Ramji Ki Leela Hai Nyari was fully rhythm based. It was a rhythmic. You want to dance if you hear it now.
Yes.
But Parbat Ke Us Paar, Parbat Ke Is Paar is pure melody. It is such a sweet melody that you want to sit and you want to let it wash over you. And of course, I'll come to Dafli Wale, Dafli Baja, which just broke the bank and went somewhere into a different stratosphere altogether. And, with two very, very, very powerful instruments, I would call them, Anand Bakshi and Lata Mangeshkar, it was indestructible. So, sir, can you talk to us a little bit about these songs? And actually, all the songs were outstanding. The emotion of Mujhe Mat Roko, Mujhe Gaane Do, it brought tears to your eyes. It was a great score in every aspect, So let's start talking about the rhythm, because I've always felt, and in my head, I may be wrong, but is that for me, when I wanted melodies, continuous melodies, non-stop melodies, I would hear the music of R.D. Burman. But when I wanted the energy of Indian rhythms, there was no one to touch Lakshmikant Pyarelal. And this was a pure Indian score. It was a rhythm score. Ramji Ki Nikli Savari, Ramji Ki Leela Hai Nyari. Do you have anything to say about Milind, sir?
Pardon?
एक तरफ सीता, एक तरफ लक्ष्मण, एक तरफ सीता, बीच में जगत के पालनहारी,
That's
राम जी की निकली सवारी, राम जी की लीला है न्यारी, इनक्रेडिबल एंड आउटस्टैंडिंग। पर्वत के इस पार, पर्वत के उस पार, लता एट हर बेस्ट, डफली वाले डफली बजा।
All these songs were great. The biggest hit was, of course, Duffly Wale. But if you ask my personal favorite, I would say Koyal Boli was very melodious. And then the other one which you mentioned,
मुझे मत रोको,
Parbat Ke Is Par,
पर्वत के
that
इस
was
पार।
very melodious again. And you said there were two stars, Anand Bakshi and Lata Mangeshkar. But I would say there was a third star in it. You forgot Rafi Saab.
Rafi,
Mohammed Rafi.
of course.
Amazing. The combination of Mohammed.
Also P.L. Raj, the choreographer. We have to give him credit.
Oh, absolutely. I
A
mean,
huge contribution to the visual impact to these great songs came from that man.
So it was a combination of Anand Bakshi, Lakshmikant Pyarelal, Lata ji, Rafi Saab, and पर्दे पे तो I think ऋषि कपूर जब डफली बजाता है या डफ बजाता है तो लगता है he is actually playing it. When he plays the guitar in कर्ज और हम किस कम नहीं, you feel he's playing the guitar. He is one hero. When he picks up an instrument, you actually feel he's playing it.
how he did the duff in this film, it was incredible. He just picked it up and as if he was born playing the duffly.
And Anand, if you remember, he's actually playing the beat.
Yeah.
He's playing the beat.
And I would say another thing, I mean, he's the one actor on whom easily Kishore Kumar's voice and Mohammad Rafi's voice would just sneak in and it would be perfect. You know, when he worked with Amar Akbar Antony's Lakshmikant Pyarelal score, the entire score, whether we admit it or not, was Rishi Kapoor. He played Akbar the Kabal. So whether it was Tayyab Ali Pyar Ka Dushman, whether it was Parda, whether it was all Mohammad Rafi, Lakshmikant Pyarelal, Rishi Kapoor all over again. And so was this. And it's an incredibly formidable combination. Was how much of the translation of these great songs into visuals was K. Vishwanath?
Well, of course, the original was there as reference, and obviously that was his creation. So the basic guidance was here too for everybody. But like I said, my father always said, we need to adapt to the North Indian audience. And as I mentioned this the last time, this particular situation for Duffly Wale was where she accepts him in her mind, and she therefore does literally a puja of him and that huge South Indian garland and that whole treatment to the song where she's almost like accepting him as God and her Lord and Almighty, which was not going to work. A bhajan kind of song would not have worked here. And this was created by Dad, and there was quite a it took time to convince Mr. K. Vishwanath about the song and getting him wholeheartedly onto Duffly Wale.
But when he saw the whole film, finally, its entirety, first copy, was he satisfied with the way?
Absolutely.
And finally took great pride in the huge success of the film?
He did.
I think that's absolutely wonderful. Anand sir, Milind sir, you all have worked with the new generation. Kumar Sanu, Kavita Krishnamurti, Alka Yagnik, Suresh Vadkar. These have been the generation of singers of your generation. But you have already, you have also worked with Lataji, Balasubramaniam Saab, Mohammad Rafi and Kishore. Tell me what it is to work with those stalwarts and these equally talented but younger singers.
See, we couldn't work with Rafi Saab. We always feel very bad about it. And this feeling will remain forever. Yeah, I wish I had taken at least one song from Rafi Saab. But one thing I'd like to tell you is that when we entered the industry, I mean, we have seen the entire transition. It used to be monophonic. There was no stereo also. Us time hum log aaye the. Then it shifted to stereo, then multi-tracking, then digital and computers and all that. Those days, singing was much more difficult because you would have rehearsals and all that. And then when the singer went on the mic, I mean, a Lakshmikant Pyarelal song or anybody's song for that matter, you have 100 musicians playing different instruments, that whole orchestration, and it used to be chalo now ready for take, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and the introduction starts. So you can't afford to make a single mistake. It is not only memorizing the tune, wo to ho gaya, you know, the beat, the expressions, and what all you want to do with the song. Sometimes it used to be during a running take that Lata ji would take koi jagah leti thi wo, and then Rafi Saab would remember that. And in the second antra, he would counter that with something else in a running take. I mean, it was not pre-planned. And, you know, if there was any mistake, एक word भी इधर से उधर हो गया, तो it was cut, start all over again. There was no facility of dubbing. Today it is, I mean, you can even cut and paste quarter note, or, you know, आ जा वर्ड है तो आ गड़बड़ हो गया, जा ठीक है तो आ को आप उसको पेस्ट कर लो रिकॉर्ड करके. So things are much simpler now. But those days, and the same thing was with the orchestration, the people who were playing the instruments. I remember there was one song which we were doing, and there was one mistake by some musician. So Lata auntie just came out and put her specs down and just looked, ki kisne kiya, and just went inside. Now that guy, imagine, he must have started perspiring and said, ki, hope I don't do the same mistake in the next take. Because of me, that whole thing has got, you know, cut. So that's a lot of difference, singing those days and singing now. Not that today's singers aren't talented, they are very good. And maybe if they were in that era, they would have fared equally well. But these basic points are something to remember.
But as you rightly said, technology has made the song singing easier. It has made the actual recording easier, more sophisticated maybe. But does it mean that today, if we had to give these singers, for example, Parbat Ke Us Par ya Koel Boli, the actual emotion can't come if you're cutting and pasting half a quarter note, no?
No. The
Emotion,
soul,
then you go straight to a song.
yeah.
You laugh
That
with the song, you cry with the song with your voice. Would they be able to do that today?
Technically, it's superb, but the soul is missing.
Soul is.
Roo gayab ho gayi hai.
See,
And you
because
yeah.
what happens, one more thing, if a song is of two antras, Mukhda ek antra and then second antra, so थोड़ा सा when you're playing naturally, all the musicians and all, काफी गानों में ऐसा लगता है कि थोड़ा tempo बढ़ भी जाता है, which adds to the crescendo of the song towards the end. And if the singer is singing it, he sings the Mukhda, then the first antra, then again Mukhda, second antra, again Mukhda. So each Mukhda that he comes back to, he sings in a different way with some different expression. Now it's you sing one Mukhda, copy paste. So it's the same thing. जो गाया वही expression है, एक ही expression मिलेगा. People don't want to sing it again. वो हो गया ना एक बार मुखड़ा, उसको copy paste कर दो.
And plus one more thing, Vivek, you know, you're not interacting with the musicians. I mean, that whole atmosphere is missing.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember famous Tardeo, probably there were only 2 tracks. Pravesh will remember. And तीसरा ट्रैक था ही नहीं, मतलब 2 ही ट्रैक पे लोग रिकॉर्ड करते थे. एक ओनली म्यूजिक ट्रैक होता था पूरा और एक शायद वॉइस का. वो भी बाद में 2 ट्रैक किया था, पहले सिंगल ट्रैक पे ही करते थे रिकॉर्ड. So it was like what Anand was saying, everybody has to be perfect. एक मिस्टेक हुआ, go back again, start.
Layering things, layering all these tracks later on when it was recorded at a place like Mehboob Studios. And I'm getting a flashback to after what Milanji just said, during the recording of Mevi Jaan, which was again Lakshmikant Pyarelal, Anand Bakshi, Lata ji, and all of that huge production. But in Mehboob, with that, by then all of them had moved on to the hipper studios and proper equipment. We were still recording in Mehboob for various reasons. We were still in Mehboob. And it had to be done in stereo, and it had to be done, it was a nightmare recording. And then the follow-up act to put it all together, the
Yeah.
number of wires and plugs that the recordist was, I mean, he was a genius, Tagore, to pull out, shove something in at the absolute split second and make that magic happen.
I have never seen Tagore Sahab with his mouth open. It was like
But
that.
yeah, amazing what.
Tagore Sahab and Mehboob, I think
Legend.
one of the best recordings during its time. But
Yeah.
it's such a funny thing if you go to think of it, stereo शुरू हो गया था और उनका जो मॉनिटर था स्पीकर वो मोनो था. बाद में वो दो कहीं से और स्पीकर लाके उन लोग सुनते थे. Otherwise his main monitor which they had covered, if you remember, at the end of the room.
Yeah.
That was mono.
One more thing, Tagore was very musical because
Yes.
his dad, Dakshina Babu, he was a top musician. So that was in his blood. And he used to go by ear very often. I used to sometimes ask him, कि ये जो है ये थोड़ा loud करना है. He'd just hear it and say whether it's okay or no. He was, I mean, too good.
He was right there. Years and years, I mean, these are the people that Bollywood legends are made of. Anand sir and Milind sir, one more question before I talk to Pravesh ji about the film. You were actually doing a music class before we started since we were late. So please tell us something about your Anand Milind Music Academy, how you do it, where you do it. It would be so nice for all our audience to know that there is a place where there are the right people to give them the right musical training. I want to share this news information.
We started our academy, Anand Milind's Academy of Music, about 3 years ago in Powai at Hiranandani Gardens. So we have 2 places here which we've taken on. We've collaborated with Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani. So one is the school, Hiranandani Foundation School. We have 3 big halls there. And he started a learning called Hiranandani Institute of Learning. So we started there as well. And we have children from about 5-6 to the age group goes on till about 75-year-old people also come to learn. We have Hindustani vocal, semi-classical and classical. We have Western vocal. We have drums, flute, keyboard, piano, guitar. So we teach all of this. After March, around say April or May, we started online because of this pandemic. We had to shut down the school. And since all schools are shut as well. So nobody wants to risk that now. So online, when we started, it expanded further. And now we've got students from Dubai and Scotland and elsewhere also. And I feel...
Is the information available on Google? Is there a website?
A website is being created now, but I can pass on all these information
to all music lovers that I'm in touch with, including my students.
We would be very keen.
I would be very keen as well, sir. And Madhav is giving me eyes and saying, "Yaar, jaldi karo, thoda sa late start hua." So, Madhav sir, do we have any questions?
Yes, we do. And I think these are 2 interesting questions that Pravesh ji, I would request you to answer at least the first one. I have a query from, it's not a query, it's a statement, but please validate this from Mr. Santosh Mishra. He says, Jaya Pradaji was just 16 when she worked in Sargam. Now, is that correct? Not correct? Can you validate that or give us any other answer to that?
No, I think she was definitely older than that.
All right.
Sridevi was considered for a bit, and Sridevi at that time was around 16. She had just done that film that they remade in Hindi with Amol Palekar, Sweet 16. No, not Sadma.
Amol Palekar. Hold on. I remember what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying. Well, anyway, it was Sridevi who was 16 at that time, and she was definitely older.
So I'm thankful to you for this clarification.
But
query.
Right now, Jaya Prada is 16 today.
All right, that's a good one. Okay. The other question is, this has come from Mr. Praveen Vajay, how was the Duffley song conceptualized?
Good question.
Well, like I mentioned, creatively the situation demanded the same emotion as it was in the original Telugu film. But there, with their sensibilities and the director's treatment, it was a very sort of I accept you as my Lord, and you know, it was like almost like a prayer of acceptance kind of song in the original. But for the North Indian audience to come out and express for the first time, I love you kind of thing, it needed to be Dafli Wale Dafli Baja. That's pretty much how it was conceptualized. Who
Right,
really came up with it? I think there was a great contribution from Bakshi Saab.
all right. So thank you very much for the answers. And Vivek, I think you could just thank the panelists and
because of the time. Praveshji, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Anandji, Milanji, thank you so much. You've come twice. I'm really grateful on behalf of Praveshji and NNCP Productions, on behalf of Madhavji and Lonavala International Film Festival, on behalf of Texigo. Thank you deeply. Thank you very much. And please, now that we have met, let us keep in touch and let us carry on doing the good work forward. Thank you, all of you. I'm really sorry about the delay in the beginning. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation, and I hope that you enjoy Sargam even better. Tomorrow, Fakira, an outstandingly slick commercial thriller, and then day after tomorrow, Chor Machai Shor, and a bunch of tributes to Sri NNCP by industry veterans.
I have a quick announcement for the people. Watch the film today because we are putting it out on a specially upgraded HD version. So the quality is impeccable. You can look forward to a great viewing this evening.
Super. I'm going to do that actually.
thank you. That's thanks to our content partner, Ultra, Praveshji.
Yes, absolutely. That's courtesy Ultra. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the film.
Thank you. Enjoy the film, everybody. God bless.
Thank you.